How we doing, everyone? Thank you very much for joining my latest video. So this is just another video just to sort of talk about the latest newsreel that I've seen, and it's another newsreel that's confirming what I've been saying in my videos. So according to Sky News, that 40% of parents are now, or 40% of mums are now getting themselves into debt to pay for childcare. Now, that's not going to be surprising to anyone that's watched any of my videos. Now, I know this is true. I mean, I know you can obviously question the mainstream media and say, well, how do you know it's true? But I know this is true because I've spoken to a lot of them and they've told me as much. I mean, I've spoken to people that they've borrowed from their families, families that didn't really have it to give, but they managed to spare it, and then they go through the processes trying to get it back. Again, with case manager sabotage, and the case manager sabotage on that is probably just as bad as what it is in the SMI loans. And I mean, there must be more reasons than stress for it, and I think this newsreel maybe gave an indication, another indication as to why they do it, and I'll go into it as the video goes on. But I would probably say more than 40. I mean, 40% is high enough. So 40% of people who need help with their childcare are actually getting into debt to pay for it, and yet, they're supposed to be paying for it though. Was it 85% of costs? I can't remember. It kind of goes away for you, this information, the longer you've not been doing the job. But I'm pretty sure it's up to 85%. And there was one woman on the newsreel that had said that it was our childcare costs are more than our mortgage, which I could believe that. And this is the thing, like. The stress it causes, and I've seen this as well, mothers and they're on the phone begging you, look, is there nothing else you can do for me? Is there nothing else you can do for me to get this payment pushed through? And there really isn't, because we don't dispense payments. All I can really do is send out the relevant disputes and then mark it onto the notes to say why I've sent the dispute. That is as far as it goes. Of course, you can sort of think out the box and go against the grain, as I've explained, but for the most part, there's nothing really that you can do. Short of having a decent conversation and giving them some hope, that's really all you can do. And obviously give them the correct information. So mums who are needing childcare are actually getting into debt, and they're getting into all kinds of debt. I've seen people, I had this one woman tell me that she borrowed a rent account, so the money she was getting to pay her landlord, she had obviously thought that, well, that's okay, I'll just use that and this will get sorted out. And I hope it did get sorted out. Obviously can't say one way or the other, but the chances are it might not have for a very long time, which would have then put her into rent arrears, which is just taken from Peter to pay Paul, as they say, and it certainly doesn't solve any problems. The newsreel was 2.5 minutes long. It should have been a lot longer. People like me should be on there explaining why there's 40% of mothers in debts, and I know why, and it's because of these bloody processes. And again, it can't just be about stress. Now, apparently at the end of the reel, it didn't elaborate. I'll need to look into this as to why this was, but it said at the end of the reel that moving into 2025, people are going to be entitled to up to 30 hours childcare, free childcare. And it had gone on to say that it'll only work provided the processes are done correctly. Because if it's not, then it's going to be the child providers that's going to be out of pocket. And it's like, oh, so now we've arrived at the point. Right, so we look at the agenda, we look at everything that's going on with regards to COVID, people losing their businesses, their jobs, everything. And now they can't, they're having a job verifying the bloody childcare cost they've got, never mind setting up a new system. So if they are going to set up a new system, I suggest they dump the old one when they set up the new one, because these processes aren't bloody working, and I've seen that firsthand. Now, if it does, it's obvious what they're doing. They want rid of everything, and this is just another aspect of it. The sabotage between the SMI loans and the childcare, it's going to hurt who? Well, it hurts the mother first, but moving into this new system that they're talking about, it's going to hurt child providers, and child providers are independent business owners, which is something they want rid of, and that's been evident since COVID. I mean, there was a couple of shops here that had closed. It was really, really sad. People lose their livelihood, and then what they do is, the ones that weren't on furlough, they end up burning through their savings, and they end up with nothing. And then they then have to go on to benefits to then be met with these processes. I mean, you imagine that, right? You imagine the process of that, right? So you get to 2020, everything's going well, March hits, and there's apparently a killer virus out there. And then it goes through the motions, and then mask mandatory, everything closed down, you lose your business, blah, blah, blah. Right, so the mental health from that alone or the mental health problems that you'll get from that alone is going to change your life. And add to that you don't know why it's being done. And then you realise that actually you've burnt through your savings. So that's another problem. So you've got not any savings, then you need to move on. So that's another mental health problem when you've not run it through your savings. Because it's always nice to have savings, because you know whatever happens, you know it's there. So that's gone now. Right, okay, now what I need to do is I need to go to benefits. And this is your benefit system. I mean, just imagine what that could do to someone in a 4-year period. Just for a second, just imagine. Just for your average person, your average decent person that they just want to go to work every day. They want to take care of their family, have barbecues, dinners, holidays, whatever it may be, Christmas parties, whatever. But as I've said to a few people in my life, that these people, we've got a group of people that want to do away with all that. And these issues with this childcare is just a part of it. But they do want to do away with it. And I've had people say to me as well, like when you look at Agenda 2030 and the goals of it, how they want you only buying so many garments every week, and they want you eating so much meat every week. And I've had quite a few people have said this to me. They'll never be able to enforce that. Do you know something, mate? You would have said something in the same things about COVID restrictions. Had I given them to you in 2019 and said that this was going to be coming, you would have said the exact same words. They cannot enforce this, and yet they did. So the fact that these rules might be sort of outlandish, that doesn't mean to say they won't implement them. But they need your consent to do that. That's why I get so frustrated at times, because the people that say, what can I do about it? Well, you can stop complying. Like during COVID, everyone just went with it. And that's fine if that made you feel more comfortable. That's fine. But this is what happens. This is why we need to get our wits about us and start learning about this stuff. And back to obviously the title of the video. I mean, the childcare costs. I mean, you've got people, like I say, I mean, you imagine borrowing out a rent account. Right, so you've got your childcare sorted, but then your landlord's on your back, because these landlords, and you've got to remember, I mean, I maybe didn't probably take this into consideration as much as what I should have when I was doing the job. These landlords, they could be quite snippy, but I've only now realised that, well, of course they are, because they're waiting on a payment to cover their bloody mortgage. So of course they're stressed from that, because banks aren't humane. I mean, if he misses his payments long enough, he'll lose his house. And all the money he's put into it, or the money his tenants has put into it, whatever way you want to look at that, has been a waste of time. I mean, and what other debts is mothers taking on to cover their childcare costs just till we get this sorted out? I had a woman from tax credits, and she'd migrated across, and she was I think I've mentioned her before, she was lovely. And she had said to me, she said, oh, it's okay, they said at tax credits that universal credit will sort this out, because apparently at tax credits, everything was done for them, basically. The people at tax credits done all this, and the payment was there each month, every month, with no problems, no phone. I mean, there'd probably been times where there was problems with it, but they weren't making, I bet they weren't making nowhere near as many phone calls as what they're making on universal credit. And the woman had said to me, well, it's okay, they said universal credit will sort all this out, it'll be fine, it'll be okay. And those words still chill me to the bone, because I didn't have the heart to tell the woman, look, and I should have, I actually feel bad, I should have said, look, because I should have prepared her. I said, look, this isn't like tax credits, this is actually different. It's far more sinister. There's nowhere near, or there doesn't appear to be anywhere near as many competent people as what there sounds like at the tax credits office. Because they were obviously quite good people, they were obviously good at it. So if there is to be a new childcare system with 33 hours or 33 hours every week, then that would be the department I would be looking at to run it, because everyone I'd spoken to said they were great. So see, it's just simple things like that. Why can't we run it like that? Right, okay, who was better at reporting childcare costs and getting them confirmed and verified? Right, let's look at universal credit. Right, they're shite at it, obviously, just incompetent or they're brainless. Whichever it is, it doesn't matter, they've got to go. Look at tax credits, they're really good at it actually. So that's it. Why don't we use that type of common sense? I don't get it. It just doesn't seem to exist anymore. And then yet when somebody like me comes along and starts speaking out and saying this is wrong or whatever, or why are we doing this, I'm actually regarded as the troublemaker. And then it doesn't matter how calm you start off, the more they come out with their nonsense, the more it is going to frustrate you. I mean, of course you get more aggressive and your voice gets lifted, because it's like someone's not listening to you, despite the fact that you've been very calm and polite. So of course that's going to increase. I've said it before, I mean, it's one of the worst forms of gaslighting to tell someone to calm down that's already calm. And again, like, what other debt are these mums taking on? I mean, are they getting payday loans? That's just another problem. I mean, what they might think, I might need to get involved in criminality to pay this. I mean, why shouldn't I? Everything's going to shit, so I might as well. I mean, I would recommend you don't do that, but you could understand why people would think like that when there's processes like this. And when I mean, at the end of that reel, when it had said like, oh, it'll be bad for the childcare providers if this doesn't work out correctly, and it's like, well, there it is. You can almost guarantee that it's going to be bad for childcare providers, because they don't want small business owners, they don't want independent business owners. It's no good to them, because if you're an independent business owner making decent money or whatever, you're not going to be needing any universal incomes, are you? You don't need to be on universal credit. So this is why they need to do away with all that. And I mean, COVID was the catalyst for that. And one of my next videos is going to be COVID. And I'll go into all this on it. I'll need to do some research on it. I've started it because it's been a few years, obviously. And there's another video coming about Katie Hopkins, like, 'cause I like Katie Hopkins now. I think she's really funny and she's definitely needed. And there's something I want to talk about that she's thinking this week. I'll go into it in the next video though. But I mean, this one is just to let the mums of childcare know that I worked in that system, and they were deliberately doing this to you, in my opinion. So I would suggest that, and I know it's hard for childcare providers because they've got bills to pay as well. They've got their rent and all the rest of it, and their mortgages and whatever. And it just becomes this big stress ball with everything. The childcare provider's onto the mum. The mum is then onto us. We're on to the... And it just creates this big bubble of chaos. Because that's what it is. And they say order comes out of chaos. That's why there's so much of it, because they can get order out of it. Order out of chaos, order ab chaos. It's the Freemasonic mantra, it's one of them. It's on their front. It's on the front of their what is it they call them? I can't remember what they call their badges, there's a name for it. But yeah, their coat of arms or whatever it is, it's on there. Order ab chaos. And then you look at the chaos we've had, and then I see the chaos that was in universal credit, and I think, fucking hell, man, this is real, man. This is real. Like, they're really doing this. And that's another reason why I came forward, because I could see the agenda playing out on that phone line. And then again, the newsreels that sort of came out since I've started doing these videos it's just confirmed it. Like, it just keeps confirming it, and it has done again. And people ask, what's the solution to this? And it's like, well, first and foremost, we need to stop letting them manipulate us into a position of fear. And I'm not talking about the government, I'm talking about the people at Universal Credit, your case managers. And some people would speak to case managers and think that, well, I'm inferior, they're better than me because they're a case manager. They're not. They're no better than you. And again, there is case managers out there that are decent, and you might be lucky and get a decent one. I've spoken to them. I've spoken to a case manager one day that she wasn't working, like, but she was helping a neighbour of hers. He passed over informed consent for her to speak on the claimant's behalf, and I'd asked her some questions and that, and she was decent. She was really, really good. So they do exist. It's just unfortunate that they're starting to leave more and more. And that is quite alarming, because if we are going to move into this new childcare system, and it's going to be 33 hours a week or whatever it is, I'm going to need to look into it more. Then we need competence. Because the last thing we want is more business owners losing businesses because the processes aren't set up correctly, or the bloody people that's employed to administer the processes can't be bothered. But we do need to stop thinking that they're better than us, because they're not. They're just not. And you'll find that once you educate yourself and you read books and you start to say, no, wait a minute, actually I have got something about me, and you get your self-esteem and your confidence back. That's why I suggest you learn new things, because it's brilliant for your self-esteem. And then you can start to sort of, shoulders out, eyes looking straight into theirs. You're not looking down and being uncomfortable, you're looking straight at them. That changes the complexion of the situation, because you're not looking down on anyone and they're not looking down on you, you're equals. And that's what we need to do. That would be a good start. Stop feeling inferior, because you're not. So it was just a short video to say that. Like I say, there's another couple coming, the Katie Hopkins one. I'm quite looking forward to doing that, because it's hilarious why she's getting berated this week. I'm sure you've probably heard it, but I want to have my say on it. The lockdown one as well, the lockdown, I think, what is it? Lockdowns, Lies and Apparent Cures, I think the title is for it. So that's what it will be. And I would just like to say as well, thank you to everyone that's subscribed. I mean, 15,000 subscribers is just, it's bananas, it really is. I just can't believe it, but thank you, because it's all you that's done it. And your kind words that you keep sending in as well is very nice also. It keeps me going, it keeps giving me inspiration. And I hope you're enjoying all the content. And I'll try and keep it up as long as I can. I'll keep you informed as long as I can and without boring you. Thanks again for watching, and look after yourselves and have a nice weekend, okay? Alright man, bye, see you in the next one.